Hi, I'm Pat Leary.
And I'm Jake Morris.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Good Morning Wakefield.
We have quite a wonderful show for you today, folks, so we hope that you all stay tuned to the very end.
Starting today's news, film classes have finally received their brand new computers.
That's right, Pat. After weeks of Mr. Constantine's constant lies and questionably unethical actions, the computers are safely set up in the design lab and honestly look pretty great and are a pleasure to use. They're much faster, more powerful than the previous computers and will certainly help through tedious editing processes.
Oh, you're right, Jake. I'm super impressed with these machines. And speaking of new things in the school, how about the new healthy lunch options? There are always bins of fruit in the lunch line, and it seems to be empty whenever I go to get lunch. So I guess the school's healthier food options are working.
Well, Pat, I should think someone of your caliber could definitely benefit from a little fruit every now and then. Over to Patrick Maloney for what the students think about later school start times.
Thanks, guys. We interviewed some of my fellow students here at Wakefield Memorial High School to get their opinion on later school start times.
Yeah, I feel like the start time's a little bit earlier. A lot of other schools, their start times are way later than ours, and we aren't getting much sleep.
No, because I like to get out of school earlier to get my homework done and sleep earlier.
Yes, I think that later start times would be beneficial to students because it gives them more opportunity to sleep, which means they'll have a better attention span in class.
I don't think a later start time would be beneficial for staff and students because it could affect after-school sports and stuff.
I get up at like 5:45, take a shower. I like to wake up early so I'm nice and ready to go to school.
I usually wake up around like 6:20, 6:30, and I'm always like tired when I come to school.
I think a later start time could help students like get better sleep, maybe allow them to become more healthy, but I don't know if it'll be that beneficial. Later start times could affect rides to school because parents could be in work, but it probably would.
I think students will be able to focus better because, when you have more time to sleep, it's like research that says later start times are more beneficial and students can focus and have better grades.
Just all around doing better in school, better work, better grades.
No, I don't think later start times would affect getting rides to school, especially in high school, because a lot of people carpool and older kids drive.
Yes, because many parents have to go to work early.
Sports will have to be later, and that will be harder because the later it is, the later you have to stay up. So then it would just be
later start times will conflict with sports depending on if you play club as well. So less time.
Well, it would have to push it back later into the day, which leaves less time for your afternoons and evenings.
So for sports, I feel like it would get too dark, especially for sports that are outside, like baseball, soccer, stuff like that. I think it would be about the same. I don't think I'd get much more energy.
Yeah, during first couple periods, I don't really.
The more sleep I get, the better work I'll do in school, and I'll just get better grades.
Students here had some very interesting opinions on later school start times. Thanks for listening. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Patrick. I can definitely say that I agree with people that we come to school way too early.
Exactly, Jake. I barely get any time for my beauty sleep. Anyway, how about the Wakefield wrestling team who had an electric end of the season with Wakefield ending in third place at the D3 state tournament? 132-pound sophomore Aiden Lamb even won the state championship for his weight class. Congrats to him, but let's be real, Jake. If they let me out there on the wrestling mat, I would have dominated.
Oh, I bet, Pat. I'm sure that you'd be the new heavyweight champion of Wakefield High. Speaking of sports, as the winter season ends and the spring begins, we start the transition into the spring sports season. Many teams, such as the lacrosse and tennis team, have already had team meetings. It seems that tryouts week this year runs from March 18th to the 22nd. Good luck to everyone trying out for any team this year.
Couldn't agree more, Jake. You could really use the luck after how this year's hockey season went for you. Anyway, let's send it off to Ethan for the scoop on diversity in our school.
Hi, my name is Ethan Cabral, and today we'll be interviewing students and teachers about how they feel about diversity in our school.
Working here, I think that we had 93% of students were white in the district. I live in a town that's 97% white, and as a result, I've chosen to send my child to a different school because he's Asian. I didn't want him to be the only non-white student in his class. I think because of the way people have moved in outside of Boston, diversity is obviously increasing.
I think that diversity is just the difference and the unique things about each person. So like different races or different beliefs or different like sexual orientation. I don't know, but I think that it's important in the school community because it will help others accept each other, and it will help others like learn different things about each other and learn about the differences.
I think diversity is important in our school community because there needs to be more awareness, and it just needs to be taught more and talked about in general.
I think going back to my first piece about as far as what diversity is, it could be lots of different things, whether it's race, gender, orientation, whether it's religious and diversity. So there's lots of different things that could mean that. As far as the importance of the school, so I think because I think we just need an overall sense of understanding, knowledge, awareness, but then also the acceptance. And I think if the more educated we are and the more we draw our attention to that topic and this issue, I think that will increase the level of not just awareness, but the acceptance and the welcoming of all. The goal is to make sure students feel welcome when they come here, right? So that's the goal.
Diversity, I think, in general, is typically just defined as like where people are coming from, what groups they come from. But diversity is also religious diversity, economic diversity. There's different things that we could be looking at.
Really important that as a school we address all different types and of different ways to do that, and I think that could be whether it's through a lot of our clubs. We have some great clubs that help target those areas to promote awareness. I think we have teachers that incorporate it in their classrooms, so that's really important. And then also, if we can post things around the school, just kind of an awareness and acceptance. I think the key is the acceptance and the awareness piece around the building throughout. So it just kind of has that overall sense of welcoming for all.
I think that we see diversity celebrated through our METCO program, obviously. I think that we make a concerted effort to do events around Black History Month and that sort of thing. But there's definitely other months that we're not even looking at. We're not looking at Hispanic Heritage Month. We don't do anything for Indigenous Peoples Month, really. There's definitely groups of people that we're not highlighting and celebrating in our school.
That's all for today. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Ethan. Some super interesting interviews there, if I do say so myself.
Oh, they sure was, Pat. Not to dampen the mood, but some pretty unfortunate things are happening concerning parking spots. Starting March 18th, reserved parking spots for seniors will be taken away, and parking will now be on a first-come, first-served basis. This parking fiasco is due to the upcoming construction of the new school starting this spring season.
But hey, Jake, on the bright side, this will hopefully lead to a faster construction of the new high school. That's right, folks. The reconstruction of Wake High is no longer a myth of legends, and work is actually being put into action. Plans begin March 18th, and it'll be interesting to see how constructing will affect students and faculty, screwing them over in ways we couldn't have possibly thought of beforehand.
Super cool, Pat. Hopefully they can make a school big enough to actually fit you inside of it. Now it's time for Heidi to talk about what students want out of this new school.
Hi, my name's Hadi, and today we're going to be interviewing students about the current state of the school and what they would like to see in the new school.
In the new school, I would like to see a new weight room and a new wrestling room. I think a new weight room would allow future students to get big and strong, and a new wrestling room would allow the future wrestling team to get better at wrestling.
I'd like to see some improvements in the technology. I know this building is pretty old, so it's tough to get all the Wi-Fi and everything set up and everything that we need to access into our curriculum as we kind of move forward into this new kind of wave of education where technology is a major part of what we have to be able to utilize every day.
I like the way it's organized, the way how we have all the science classes in one part, math classes in the other, ELA in the other one, history in the own hallway. I think that really makes traffic better for the school. It's pretty old and run down, so the classrooms have a lot of problems, like the heaters kind of shut off and make really loud noises, which disrupts the students and the teachers. The water kind of gets altered sometimes, and they have to shut off the water systems because it's non-potable. And there's a lot of asbestos as well, like in the wrestling room. When you go in the storage room, if you touch like the lights and stuff, all the asbestos just comes down on you, and it's very unhealthy for the wrestlers.
I, for example, as many of my compadres are suffering from the interior rooms. We have no windows. We don't have proper ventilation. We're looking forward to a nice spacious environment where we all feel comfortable moving around and having a comfortable place to work together and grow as a school.
That concludes our interview segment. Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks again, Hadi. I don't know about you, Pat, but all this talk about the new school is only making me more excited to finally up and leave this joint.
Likewise, Jake. I can't wait until I get out of this place and away from you and your hideous mullet. I've only been in this dump for half a year, and I'm already suffering from the ridiculous temperatures and leaky ceilings. Not only is this school poorly designed, but it's a newcomer's worst nightmare. I mean, I still don't even think I know where my ELA classroom is with this school's shoddy layout.
But I'm sure you know your way around the cafeteria, Pat. Now that we're on the topic of food, however, it's time to finally rank the cafeteria lunches. For my top 5, I've got to go with the classic Lisa's Pizza at 5.
Solid.
Then number 4 is, of course, the grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Nope, it's terrible, Morris.
At 3, it's the underrated steak and cheese sandwich. And for the runner-up at the number 2 spot, who could it be but orange chicken? And of course, your number 1 spot is the barbecue rib sandwich.
This is horrible,
My mouth
Morris.
is
This is an
watering just
abomination.
thinking of
You're
these
terrible,
amazing
Morris.
lunch options.
Well, those were some interesting takes there, Morris. This becomes a shock to all of you, but I don't actually eat the school lunches, so I can't be making a ranking of my own. But
That's
while
bold.
we're here, I should send it off to the final news segment to Jimmy Preston on phone usage in school.
Thanks, guys. Today we're going to talk about the phone policy in the high school and get teacher and student opinions.
You know, we're living in a technology age, so I could see the use of it, but I hope students can use it more appropriately during class, like no video games.
Depending on the teacher and depending on the class, I use my phone a fair amount. If I'm allowed, most of the class, and if I'm not allowed, as much as I can sneak it, I guess. But other than if there's a cell hotel, then obviously I can't use it unless the teacher lets you take it to the bathroom.
No, could help it. Could distract you. Could go either way. I actually don't think a lot of my teachers do. I think I only see 2 cell hotels in any of my classes, and only one of them uses them.
In my class, they're very helpful because sometimes we have to look things up, but I can't speak for any other class.
Yeah, I think it definitely, if the teacher allows me, I'm not really paying attention to what they're saying and probably not going to be doing my work most of the time.
I use my phone a lot in class, I'm going to be honest. Certain classes, I don't use it that much because the teachers are strict, but the classes that are not too strict, I use it a lot.
Thanks, everyone, for their opinions. Back to you guys in the studio.
Awesome sauce, Jimmy Press. I don't know about you, Jake, but I would hate to see this schools have tighter phone restrictions, as it would certainly make a dent in my Brawl Stars playing time.
Oh, I'm sure it would, Pat. Unfortunately, though, we've run out of time for today's show, and it's time to wrap it up.
It was a pleasure hosting this show for you folks, and we hope to see you tomorrow for another edition of Good Morning Wakefield.